This is Top Shop Podcast.
Shop Podcast.
Top Shop Podcast.
Podcast for automotive service business owners by Paul Donahue.
All right, welcome to another Top Shop Podcast. Today's guest, I've been very anxious to get on the show, Jim Silverman. Jim even beats out Mary Steele for a length of time in this industry, over 5 decades. And that's really incredible. Jim's currently the Director of Partner Relationships at ATI, Automotive Training Institute, which, if you're not familiar with that organization and you're an auto repair shop owner, really need to know who they are. They're the 300-pound gorilla, I believe, right? As far as coaching. Like a digital marketing company that I run, there's a bazillion moving parts and gears. And the same thing with a shop. Man, there's so much you need to know. Marketing and ordering and parts and, the shop culture and blah, blah, blah. So ATI has a program that is usually 24 months long, and it's coaching, and it's the number one largest coaching company in this industry. Now, what I find really interesting is that people that sign up for ATI, although it's a 24-month program, the average customer for ATI is over 9 years. Is that correct?
So we actually started out with an 18-month program, and then it grew to 24 months.
Okay.
We couldn't fit it into 24 months, so we grew it to 36. And now we've grown it to 48 months, but our average length of stay is right about 9 years. So some of those people that have been with us for 9 years or longer were with us when it was an 18-month program.
Wow.
And so it's extended, and, we've changed it and grown it and modified it. It's fun. It's a fun industry. And when you're coaching shop owners, if you think about it, as you know a lot of shop owners. And as an independent shop owner, you have an independent business because you are an independent shop owner. And so what ATI comes in and does is becomes almost like a partner to the company, so that you as an individual, as Paul Donahue sitting in your office, now you've got ATI looking over your shoulder and saying yes or no, or we like that, or we don't like that, or let's do this better, let's improve this. And we're not a do-it-for-you coaching company, we're a do-it-with-you coaching company. Meaning we're not going to fix why they've got an empty bay. We're just going to help them learn how to fill the empty bay. It's really almost like having a business partner. I've had people describe it as a master's degree in shop management.
There you go.
Because that's about what it comes out to. Yeah, but it's all about how to make the shops run more effectively, more efficiently, more productively, and more profitably. And everybody wants something different. When you come into the business, you've come into it because you want to be an independent owner, or you want to work on your retirement plan, or you want to work on your wealth portfolio. And so we just help you improve whichever of those areas or all of them that you're looking to do.
Awesome. I'm in a business that's very analytic, so are we providing benefits to our clients? Are we getting them more leads? It's very measurable, everything. So when a company like yours tells me that, hey, we have a 4-year sign up, but our average customer stays with us 9 years, to tell you the truth, that's everything I need to hear about the efficiency. That's all the reviews I need to hear. When you have your average customer stay with you for 9 years, when it started out as an 18-month coaching program, that really just tells me and anybody else listening to this program all about it. Now, a couple of other things about Jim. Jim, like me, I definitely believe in giving back to the community. If you go to my website and click on the Give Back page, you'll see what we do. Jim volunteers in the industry. He is the chair of the Automotive Management Institute. Just real quick, let's give Mary Steele over there, the executive director there, a quick plug. Tell me about AMI and how AMI and ATI are a great pair.
Interesting. So AMI, the Automotive Management Institute, is a testing facility, so to speak. Obviously, it's in the cloud, but it's business management classes, courses, ways to run your business better, ways to improve your business, and it's all about certifications of what your capabilities are, what you're learning. And so with AMI, it's just a matter of giving back. So a lot of shops, a lot of places you'll go into a shop and you hear about ASE certifications or AMI certifications. ASE or ICAR. ASE is for the technicians. It's the Automotive Service Excellence, and it does more training information. AMI does more management training. iCar is more collision focused. So there's some overlap on all of them, but AMI is the one that I got involved in. When AMI was first started, I think 20 years ago or so, it was tied into ASA. Still very attached to ASA National as a National Association for Shop Owners. It was originally done as the testing arm of that. It's two separate things now. We still have a really tight relationship with ASA, but it's just a way to give back. And from my ATI overlap on that is that most, if not all, of the classes that we teach at ATI, because we do a lot of classes for our shop owners and for our members, service advisor classes, accounting classes, hiring, staffing, marketing, those are also AMI certified, which means they're getting credits for taking an AMI class for taking the ATI classes.
Oh, wow. Oh, I didn't know that. That's a great
so,
yeah.
So at AMI, we have a whole course catalog of classes that come from ATI, that come from some other training companies, that come from individuals that do shop management training or different marketing trainings. And so you can go into amionline.org, amionline.org, and you can take classes. Not very expensive either.
Nope.
And then you get a nice diploma and you say, hey, I'm an AMAM, which is an Automotive Marketing Aftermarket Master or something like that.
Right.
I forget what the acronyms all stand for. They start to run together.
Yeah, I got to get back with Mary. I just wrote a note. There's one particular course that's exceedingly helpful to the auto repair shop owner that they really want to get out there. So I got to call her on that one. Jim also, the ASCCA, which is the Automotive Service Centers of California. He's the Revenue Benefits Chairman, another volunteer position that Jim does within the industry. Of all the people that I've met so far since I went down this path of this niche, Jim is a person that probably knows more auto repair shop owners than anybody else that I've met so far. So Jim, just real quick background, how in the world did you get into the industry?
Well, I was just about born in it.
Okay.
There are pictures someplace of me at 2 years old washing used cars for my hubcaps of used cars because I couldn't reach up for my dad who had me, wash the cars. I thought I was working. My dad was in used cars when I was little. Eventually he became involved in a Chevrolet dealership and then a leasing company and then another dealership. And I grew up in it. And so it was pretty obvious that was very easy to do. I did it full time through college and in auto leasing. Yeah. I was doing early morning classes and then going to work.
Wow.
And so I was working in the automotive industry pretty much my whole life. And then I went into a new car dealership and I spent about 13 years in a new car dealer. And I've done every job in a dealership you can do.
Wow.
Service advisor, service manager, a sales manager, salesperson, F&I, general manager, controller.
Jeez.
Played in the parts departments. And that's back in the days when everybody didn't have a computer. So I learned to do things manually, which really helps. Yes. Called spreadsheet accounting.
Yeah.
And then when we sold the dealership, I went to work for a company that sells software systems to dealerships.
Okay.
And then that was really easy and it was natural for me because I knew how to do what the systems did.
Okay.
And then I switched over and went to the aftermarket. And I went with a very large aftermarket supplier that has parts and labor information and shop management systems. And I did that for a long time and then switched over to ATI to be the national account manager about 14 years ago. And I'm still here.
Okay, so what I want to get across to the listeners is the importance of a coach. So my wife and I started this company. I started back in 2009. We started to go 2019 full service. And then a year ago, we found out, well, if you want to get anywhere, you need to specialize in a niche. So we focused on automotive. So we belong to a mastermind agency that there's only around 250 agency owners in North America that belong. We get phenomenal coaching from there. We get fantastic training and direction. And in fact, one of your ATI members is a member of the same group I belong to. You know who I'm talking about. So it's a really phenomenal organization. So now if you go and you look at statistics, or if you listen to Tony Robbins or you listen to any of these other people, they tell you seek out those who have already done what you want to do and learn from them. So coaching is probably the jet fuel to get any business moving and up off the ground. So tell me about ATI's mission and how long you've been there, et cetera. But tell me about ATI first.
ATI really started almost by accident.
Really?
And I say that Chubby Frederick started the company 30 years ago, and he was a Sun equipment dealer. And he started out doing training classes for shop owners that needed training on how to use their equipment. And he did it for a very selfish reason. He did it so he could sell more equipment.
Right, sure.
And then at some point it got to, we know how to use the equipment. We don't know how to run our business. And that's how we started with the shop management training. And so ATI became a management training company. We do a little bit of technical stuff now. We do some technical training. We do a lot of mentorship training and bringing people into the industry, how to get more people working in your shop. But the bottom line is that you can't, as an individual, our upper management has business coaches. We have business coaches that coach our company. Why? How? Because we need to get better. It's the same thing exactly. You do not see a dentist pulling his own teeth. You do not see a lawyer representing himself in court.
Yeah, that's right.
You don't see a doctor doing surgery on himself.
Right.
You've got to get help from somebody else that can do it better or knows how to do it. You have to be able to practice. And if you think about it, we're actually helping people that might not know how to run a business. And in the old days, which we don't say that anymore,
right?
Most shop owners became in a shop because they were a technician working for somebody else. And one day they said, hey, I'm working for Bob and he's paying me $20 an hour and he's charging $100. I can just start my own business. Then I get to keep the whole $100. Yeah, right. Because you don't know that, it's going to cost you more than that to run your business.
Right.
So you need help on how to run it. You didn't just become a technician and start running your business. So it's how to train people to run their business smarter and more efficiently. And a lot of it gets involved with succession planning and what you're going to sell it to next. You always have to be looking for where you're going to grow your business. So we help shop owners focus on their roadmap, on where they're going next. And if you don't know where you're going next, you really probably should just put a for sale sign on it.
Sure.
Because Yeah.
Let me drive home the point of coaching. Franchises, McDonald's Corporation. Guess which type of person that comes to McDonald's and says, I want to buy a franchise is their most successful and favorite type of person to sell a franchise to. Do you have any idea, Jim?
Yeah, I do not. I've never thought about buying a McDonald's.
Farmers.
Okay.
Farmer sells his land, needs to roll over the money. He buys a McDonald's franchise. Guess what the farmer does? Reads the manual.
Yes.
Does exactly what it says to do.
Yes. If you buy a Big Mac, we all know what a Big Mac is: 2 all beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions on a sesame seed bun.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And if you buy that Big Mac in Denver, if you buy that Big Mac in New York City,
Or
if
Japan.
you buy it in Japan, if you buy it in Hong Kong, if you buy it in London, it's still 2 all beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions on a Sesame Street bun.
Right.
And so the whole thing is consistency. And McDonald's coaches their franchisees on how to run their business cookie cutter. So
Right.
It's always the same.
Yeah.
Now with a shop owner, it's not cookie cutter because they're not always the same. The rent factor in Denver is different than the rent factor in New York City. That's different than the rent factor in Miami.
Right.
And that's different in Podunkville, Iowa. Okay. And so everything is a little different. The shops aren't all set the same. The difference in a franchise and an independent owner, you're setting your own picture. You're designing it to fit you or your market or whatever you want. And you could say, I'm going to be a Meineke shop. And we know that every Meineke shop is going to be labeled with the same logo on it. And it's going to have the same processes. And there's a book for Meineke shop owners to follow this course and this course and this course. We do coach some Meineke shop owners.
Okay.
But we do not coach Meineke Corporation. We work just with the independent owners of the franchises.
Okay.
And I just grabbed Meineke out of the air. But our shops are not franchises, but we're close to it. We're not an association, but we're close to it. all of our formerly called clients are ATI members because it is like an association. My little part, I say my little part, at ATI, I work with the sales team that's out selling people on joining ATI. I work with the coaches who are out coaching the shop owners every week. I work with the executives and the admin team on how to run the business better. And I get involved with all of them. And I talk to the marketing people regularly because it's all there. There's a lot of different things. But as a shop owner, you're the marketing director, you're the technician, you're the service manager, you're the accountant. You can't wear all those hats. You got to hire somebody to do it. You got to know what your expertise is and where they're going to fit and how they're going to grow.
Right.
And so we want to make sure that you're going to run it as smooth as you can. We don't follow a cookie cutter pattern, but we do have a roadmap that's going to tell you that if you're in year 3, this is where you should be going. But we do follow the roadmap to a degree. You're going to finish during your ATI program. You're going to go through A, B, C, D, E, and F, but you might not go through it in that order.
Right. Okay.
Because your shop is different than Bob's shop. That's different than somebody else's. So you might go A, D, C, B.
Right.
As long as you get it all done. And so we work really hard. What I do at ATI, which I've worked with our national accounts. I've gone for years to AMRA-MAP. I've gone to the Automotive Training Managers Council. I've been involved in a lot of different associations, the Auto Care Association. But all of these associations, the commonality is that we're all trying to make shops run more effectively and better.
Correct.
So at ATI, I work with our partner companies. Specifically, that's my day job.
Right.
I work with the companies that provide services and or products to shop owners. So if I've got somebody that needs marketing, I'm going to call one of my marketing partners. If I've got shops that need CRM, I'm going to call one of my CRM companies. I'm going to work with the SMS companies, the shop management systems, and refer them to the members. Now, I'm going to hope that a lot of people have the same opportunity and the same knowledge. I tend to vet them pretty tough. So when somebody calls me and they say, I'd like to be a marketing partner for ATI, I want to know what their specialization is. And they all start out by telling me the same thing. Oh, we're going to fix your SEO and your Google AdWords search and this and that. Yeah, no, I want to know what your focus is for that shop because they're not all cookie cutter.
All right.
And so we want to know whether it's, and maybe one partner, I'll just pick on your company,
Sure.
Advanced Digital Automotive Group, is not for everybody. And that's why you're welcome and you're glad to have competitors. I'm glad that there's other people coaching in the industry because, we can't coach every shop. There's 200,000 shops.
Right.
We cannot coach every shop.
Right.
We've only got 36 coaches. We can't coach 200,000 shops in a week. Okay.
Right.
And so when you look at this, when somebody tells me they're coaching with XYZ coach, yeah, I know he's a wannabe because he's not as good as we are because we're the best, right? We all think we're the best. I hope that everybody thinks their company's the best and that they do it and they're proud of it. I am. I drank the Kool-Aid a long time ago, and I do think that we're the best. But if somebody tells me they're coaching with someone else because of this, at least they've got a coach. That's a lot better person than the one that says, I could do this by myself. I don't need any help. We all need help.
Yeah.
We all need help.
That's why I brought up the franchising thing. Franchising, they give you got a coach. Of course, you pay out the nose the percentage of your gross revenues. But these different franchises, there's a hair cutter one, Sports Clips or whatever. They actually look for people that are not barbers and know nothing about barber. They look for people that know how to run businesses and know nothing about barbers. And look at the most successful franchise owners. So to be a shop owner and then to go to get coaching from someplace that's saying, hey, here's the combined experience. How many different shop owners over how many 30 years? That's all of this experience and expertise is rolled up in ATI, right?
Yes.
Yes. So I'm on a mission personally, and Jim can help me spread the word. That's the guy to help me spread the word. And a lot of you guys listening will know there's a lot of shop owners that are retiring. They've got 10, 20, 30 years experience in this industry. I'm on a mission with Top Shop Podcast to interview 100 repair shop owners that are towards the end of their life. They're ready to pass it on to their kids, sell, or just close their doors. But I want to record their experience before they go bye-bye, because when you get 20 and 30 years of experience, I want to record that. So I want that done. So, and like you said, all shops are different. Different shops offer different services. Some specialize in diesels. There's a bazillions of different things. A lot of shops in markets work with each other. Hey, I don't work on German vehicles, but hey, I got a buddy down the road here that does. We don't work on diesel, but I got a guy over here specializes in non-commercial diesel vehicles. So each shop has its own individual. So, and then ATI can work with that shop owner to say, hey, what are your products? What are your services? And we can go from there. But I want to quote Megatrends. John Nesbitt, if you've never heard of him, he wrote a book a long time ago called Megatrends. And the book's about that thick, but I'll give it to you in one sentence. Ray Kroc, everybody knows who he is, he went to work on a hamburger stand, not in a hamburger stand.
Yes.
So I try to remember that all the time because I'm always working in my business, but I have to remember in order to grow, I have to work on my business. With ATI and with coaching, it gives the owner the opportunity to work on their business and take that instead of in the business all the time so they can operate from a higher level. And how many years experience do you think of expertise and experience? Because all of the training comes from other auto repair shop owners. It's not hypothetical stuff. This is all right. So tell me about that.
So our coaches, and we're different than most of the other coaching companies in that our coaches are full-time employees.
Oh.
They're not 1099, although some of them still own shops. They've all either owned or run a shop or managed a location or done something fairly significant in the operations of an automotive repair shop.
Okay.
And so then they've either sold their shops, they've retired, or they are working on their business. They no longer need to be there. I've got one of our coaches, been with us a long time, still owns a very successful shop, and he stops in there every couple of weeks to say hello.
Now that's a business owner.
That's a business owner, and he spends his full time coaching ATI members. And so that's the difference in one of the things. And also, some of the other companies, when you look at it, if you've hired, you might have 20 different coaches or 15 coaches that are still working in their shop, and they still own their shop. And so when they coach another shop owner, they're coaching them from their perspective. This is what I'm doing for my shop in XYZ city. And so that's how I'm going to coach you. Well, you can't create me in your image. You've got to create me in my image. So our coaches go through some extensive training. They follow our processes, but they use their own experience with the processes so that if you're talking to Charlene or you're talking to Jeff or you're talking to Jim or you're talking to Kevin, you're going to get the ATI knowledge and Kevin's experience. And so the combination of things works that way, and it's completely smooth and it's effortlessly. And we don't always do it, but we can swap out coaches if we need to. We've got some that are more experienced at working with MSO groups, large owners that own multiple shops.
Right.
We've got some that work with the mom and pop people because of the background that they grew up in or where they specialized. But it's all the same. Our collision coaches are collision coaches. Our mechanical coaches are mechanical coaches. I've got one crossover right now, and he's trying to change his focus, I think, because he's worked in a collision shop that had a mechanical shop. And so he's got both the experience on both sides. Very few of us do.
Right. Yeah. Because I saw a combination shop just recently out in California, but rarely do I see auto repair and auto body repair in one local.
It tends to be separate, but our coaches, they're all knowledgeable and they're all full-time. They're all certified executive coaches. A lot of them are certified life coaches. They've taken classes on their own to do that. Most of our coaches, maybe all of them, are Profit First certified. They are not ATI coaches that are ATI certified. They're certified by other certification companies. They've had training by other people. We bring in instructors to train our coaches. And that's a really big deal. We're not Advanced Digital Automotive with ADA certification.
Right.
We've got marketing certification that we learn from Google or whoever it is. And so it's pretty important to have them all as experienced coaches. But our coaches coach every week, probably some of them 40, they are all probably close to 40 a week, if not more. Several of them have 70 or so people that they talk to every single week.
Wow.
We've got one coach that lives in the Pacific time zone, and he starts his first call at 4:30 in the morning Pacific time. And then he ends it at 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock East Pacific time,
Right.
because he'll do East Coast in the morning and West Coast in the afternoon. And he's capable of coaching a lot more shops than other people because of his hours and the way he spans the day. It's a lot of fun, but they've all got the experience and the knowledge. We don't have any, and that's not to say that we won't someday, but we don't bring in someone from the shoe business to coach a shop owner.
Correct. That was one of my questions on here. What makes ATI different from other coaching? I think you just kind of answered that question very thoroughly right there.
Well, there's a lot going on at ATI. Chubby started the company 30-something years ago, and it was owned. When he decided that the next step, and you've got to know when you're going to get out. You've got to know what you're going to do to sell your business, be it an automotive shop or a coaching company or even a digital marketing company. Who are you going to sell it to and why? So we looked at everybody inside and then did a lot of research, and we did end up selling the company in 2019 to Driven Brands.
Sure.
And Driven Brands owns a lot of companies, and they're Meineke, Mako, CarStar, Aber Auto Glass, Take 5 Oil Change, Take 5 Car Washes, some other different companies. And the difference is that we all run our businesses separately, but we chose Driven Brands to buy us because we wanted the power in numbers. And that's actually working really well because it gives us buying power. So one thing that we've done that's totally different from the other coaching companies is there's a new company started called Driven Advantage. And Driven Advantage is like the Amazon in the automotive industry. And so Driven Advantage is run out of ATI. And we have many different suppliers and products that we're selling through Driven Advantage. And our members are able to get those savings passed on to them. So we work with a lot of big name companies that we can get better pricing on some of the products and services because they're members of ATI and Driven Advantage because of the numbers and the vast volume that we can sell it in. So it's a lot of great opportunity.
So one of the bottom lines of coaching, of course, is increased revenues. Now, the fact that your average customer that signs on stays with you 9 years says they're really everything, but can you go over, shop owner wants to say, hey, I invest my time in this, I get this dollar amount back. And it's not so much, I think, with coaching with money also, I think it's also with lifestyle. I just did a video on shop burnout. It's real. What are the signs to look for, how to deal with it,
I'm just looking up a number right now.
Sure.
While we're talking. So we coach our shops. One of the first things we talk about is what's your average dollar gross profit lift.
Okay.
Or your average gross profit dollar lift. And I'm not going to give away a trade secret. Our average gross profit dollar lift right now today in a mechanical shop. So it's from the time the shop joined ATI until today, the average is $41.64. That's $4,000 average gross profit dollar lift per week. So if your average gross profit dollar is increased by that, that's per week. That's huge. And so when we look at it, over the years, we've saved people over almost $3.5 billion, or found almost $3.5 billion in additional profit. So it's actually $3,423,638,299.
An increased profitability for the shop owners.
However you say all those zeros back in there.
Right, yeah.
But I was reading the numbers right here while I'm looking. We look at the shop productivity. Our average shop is 146% productive.
146%.
And so we watch what the ARO is. We watch what the labor rate is. This week, ARO is 44.28. That's huge.
Yeah.
Now, they're not all going to do that. But, some are going to be, now I'm seeing another number come up. But it's different things that they come up, what's their effective labor rate, what's their gross profit dollars, what's their margin of lift, what's their effective labor rate, and what's the ARO. This one makes more sense, $1,200. And it's how to run your business more effectively and how to grow. But we tell somebody when we meet them that we're going to help you grow your gross profit dollar.
Okay.
That's the big thing. And so for a lot of them, they want more time with their family. A lot of them want to become billionaires. We'll help them.
Right. Yeah. A lot of shop owners just want to get to a certain point and, keep the list full, and then they're happy with that. They don't want 5 locations. Other shop owners, that's what they want. They want to grow. They want to do 10, 20, 30 million in gross revenues. So, and we work with those companies all the time too. Those are the ones that we're looking for, the ones that are really anxious, that want to grow. They want to grow their revenues through online means, of course. Let's talk about trends. What trends or developments do you really see that are shaping the industry, and how is ATI adapting to those?
We talk about there's a lot of trends.
Mm-hmm.
There's a ton of trends.
Yeah.
And everybody talks about something different. I'm spending a lot of time focusing right now on hiring and staffing.
Okay, I was going to ask, that's my next question.
We're getting a lot of questions on hiring and staffing. I'm talking to different staffing companies every week. I've got 2 of them in our partnership program. Going to probably add in a third or a fourth even, because I've got people that want to know different ways to hire technicians, different ways to source them. And then we've got a mentorship training program that's designed to help each shop mentor new employees or mentor young employees. You've got somebody coming into your shop. I know that you talked to Jim Bennett a few weeks ago. Yep. And interviewed him about it, and that's his baby. It ties in right with apprentice program in a similar type thing. We are not looking to train high school students. We're looking to train people that want to come to work in a shop. And so when we've got somebody that wants to work in a shop and they come in and they say, hey, I'm a really decent oil change person, or I know this, or I work on my own car, we're going to bring you at the shop and we're going to have somebody mentor you so that you learn the culture of the shop. So you learn where everything is, so that you learn how to do your technical work in a shop environment and how to run it. So we do a mentoring training program that's making huge changes, and it's been really big, and we're really pleased with that. Trends, some people are looking at how I can buy another shop. Good friend of mine that I will see tonight at baseball bought a third shop because he said, I already have 2, and I've got so many people applying to work for me that I had a big bench, so I bought a third shop. Good reason. It was so that he didn't lose them to other people. And he's finding out that by buying that third shop, now he's busy and he's got grown his bench again. And he won't surprise me when he calls me and tells me he bought a 4th shop.
Okay.
That is something that we do see. Not consolidation in the fact that we're consolidating the way the collision shops do, but consolidating for the smaller MSOs. That's not saying we wouldn't coach one of the bigger ones, but we're really only looking for the individual owners or managers. So we're working with a lot of shop owners that have 10 bays in each shop, and they've got 5 shops, because it's pretty tough to manage 50 bays in one shop.
Yeah.
But you can manage 50 bays in 5 shops.
5 shops, right? 10 bays per shop, sure.
So that's a whole different story, and I just grabbed that number right out of the air. It wasn't anything specific. It's not even a real number. But we're seeing a trend to buy and sell. Remember, in our industry, everybody's 50 years old. I say everybody. There's an awful lot of 50-year-old plus owners.
Mm-hmm.
And what are they going to do? How are they going to pass it on? Are they going to sell their business? So in my own family, 1 out of 4 is still in the automotive industry.
Wow.
So if I've got a shop, I'm hoping that one of my kids will take it over, but 1 out of 4 is in the industry, but maybe he is or isn't ready to run a shop. So I need to look at my shop and say, who am I going to pass it on to? I'm 55 years old, not me, but some people are,
sure.
And say, I'm 55 and I need to sell my shop. Who am I going to do it? My kids aren't going to take it over. My kids don't want it. Okay. My kids want to do something else. So you've got to find out who you're going to sell your shop to, how you're going to sell it, and what's it worth. And so you have to find the right value. You've got to get your shop running as productive as you can, so that when you do sell it, it's going to be a profitable entity going forward for whoever the new owner is. We actually do recommend, if possible, that when you're selling your shop, you tell people, hey, ATI has helped me get to here. If you want to keep running it successfully after you buy me, you'll keep being coached, because you probably should, at least for the first couple of years.
Right.
And that tends to be a very successful transition. But we really need to know that it's running as smooth as it can, because everybody wants to sell it for as much as they can.
Correct. So as part of the ATI coaching program, when I started this company, I already had an exit strategy in mind before I even named it. So
Absolutely.
ATI works with the shop owner so they can get them thinking, because we get caught up in the day to day. It's really easy. As soon as you open the door, the phone rings, you're caught up. So, so ADI helps people to stop and think, hey, what is your exit strategy? So I don't think we have a statistic for this, but I just like to throw it out there. I bet that if you go to almost all of the shops that are at the top of Google, when you type in auto repair in that city, they have a digital marketing company that specializes in the automotive industry that's doing very well for them, providing them leads, providing them measurable results and a good return on the investment. And that these companies also are probably, a lot of them, your customers, because
Yes.
they have a coaching program. So digital marketing company if I don't have a referral to a repair shop, I'm going to go to Google, do a search, click on the first thing to come up, period. So you have the additional revenues coming in. Now, hey, how do I grow this and manage it really well? Do you know who Tom Ham is, by the way?
I know Tom Ham very well.
I figured you did. You know everybody. Quick plug for Tom Ham. Tom, 21 some years in Automotive Management Network, automotivemanagementnetwork.com. You can join for free, or I think it's $100, $199. Repair shop owners, what you get access to is 20 plus years of auto repair shop owner knowledge in standard operating procedures and things like that. You can just download it and then you can read it over and say, here's the standard operating procedure for this. I'm just going to tweak it for my company, and then you're done.
I'll throw something out there about Tom. I was working for a software company in a management role 30 years ago, 25 years ago, something like that. Yeah, close to 30. And Tom was one of our customers. He was using our software. Okay. And Tom had more canned jobs in his management system than any other user that the company had at that point, which meant that every time they did a job, they saved it as a canned job. And then Tom was working on his business. He's the first person that I knew that was working on his business instead of in it. And he was traveling around quite a bit because he had his shop running smoothly. And every time his guys did work, they were doing it off one of the canned jobs that he'd been building for all these years. So yeah, Tom's been a long time and he's grown it by doing it. And he's a really nice guy.
Yes, he is. Yep.
And so
he runs a very successful shop in Michigan, I might add. But I wanted to mention to all the listeners, he lives in Florida.
Yeah.
And he runs a very successful shop in Michigan. So automotivemanagementnetwork.com, if you guys aren't familiar with it, go there, sign up. A wealth of knowledge is there for less than the price of a lunch per month. ATI, how do we contact ATI?
Autotraining.net.
Autotraining.net. To start from there, send in a request, I guess, to schedule a meeting with you guys, and then you'll get them started, right?
We will bring you in and we'll train you. We start out with usually a couple-hour webinar, informational webinar that gives you some pretty decent information. And if you call and you say, hey, I heard about it on the Top Shop podcast, we'll probably get you in a very low registration rate, if not a compliment. That's fine, because it's very important. And you go through the webinar with a shop owner, with a person who has been a shop owner, an ATI employee, right, who has owned a shop. Got it? Yep. And they're going to teach you on these things. They're going to answer some questions. And you're going to say, oh my gosh, I really like that. How do I go about talking about it? The next step would be, because we don't take everybody that asks us to hire them or that wants to hire us. We tell some people no. We do a business needs analysis on every shop.
We do the same thing.
And so we look at them and we say, how many bays do you have? How long have you been in existence? What's your car count? What's your average dollar repair order? What's your capability? Where are you capable of growing? And we're going to show you when we do this analysis, and we don't charge for it, that you've got room in your shop. You've got a 12-bay shop and you've got 5 technicians. Well, we know you've got room to grow by 7 technicians because of the number of bays you've got. That makes it pretty obvious. But if we look at your shop and you've got 5 technicians that are doing the productivity of 3, we know where you can improve. If you've got 3 technicians and you've got a 6-bay shop, we know where you can improve by filling those other bays. That makes it pretty obvious. So we look at the obvious part and we do the analysis and we say, hey, you're going to have to add a second story to your shop in order for you to do more work because you're boxed in, or you're going to have to open a separate shop because you're boxed in on your property. You can't expand it somewhere else. You got to open another shop or change your business model. Some of them change their business model Some of them fire some customers. Hey, if you're not firing customers, you're in the wrong business too. You need to be able to fire customers, and you need to not feel bad about it. Sorry, I can't work on your car. Take it to somebody that doesn't do the same quality I do because I'm not going to shortcut it.
Right. Or try to lowball. Right.
Yeah. So we really want to make sure that people are working on their business in a smart manner. But we do the analysis to tell them where they can grow, how much they can grow, what they can't. And then we guarantee that we'll get them to those numbers or show them how to do it, or we won't take them as a customer. So if they're not capable of growth, we're not going to bring them in. I used to describe it as a swimming pool. One guy's floating at the bottom of the pool. He might go down the drain. One guy's in the middle of the pool. He can go up or down. And one guy's on the top of the pool. So we take the person on the bottom of feeder and we say, sell your shop or improve it by doing this to get them in the middle of the pool. We tell the people in the middle of the pool, let's get you better so you can get up to the top. And the top of the pool, the cream of the crop, we're going to teach them to do water tricks.
Okay.
So that they can get even better at the top of the pool. And that's the same thing with shop owners.
We found out a long time ago, do not take every shop owner that comes to us. We do a discovery call just to see if we're a good fit for that particular shop owner. And oftentimes we're not. So I'd say 2 to 3 times out of 10 shop owner comes to us, we just tell them we're not a good fit for your company, and we try to steer them in the right direction. So I definitely believe in doing that. And I learned the lesson the hard way, just to do a discovery call in the beginning to see if your goals and everything lines up with that particular person. So it's good to see that you guys do that too. And I'm sure that you learned the hard way to do the same thing. Anyway, Jim, awesome. Any question that I should have asked that I didn't? Maybe?
I don't know. I don't know. It's, we could probably talk for 2-3 hours.
Yeah, it's been a great podcast. And I will see you at the MAP conference. Now, let me give Jeff Cox a big plug over at AMRA, Automotive Maintenance and Repair Association. And they also run a motorist.org, which is MAP, Motorist Assurance Program. The Motorist Assurance Program is your shop owner's way of telling the customer, we don't recommend that you get this work done. The Motorist Assurance Program does. And if you know what the power of a third party saying that this needs to be done, not us, because we want to make more money, but the Motorist Assurance Program does. And by the way, we're the only Motorist Assurance Program shop in this area. If you don't know what I'm talking about, please go to motorist.org or AMRA, AMRA.org, and take a quick look at it. Jim, I'll see you at the conference. I guess next week, right, in St. Louis?
It's coming up. Oh, incidentally, if anybody wants to know, if you can still get in, the AMRA MAP conference next week is in St. Louis, and they are going to be touring. They're going to be at Hunter Engineering, and it's one of the best private car museums in the country. It's a well-kept secret that you get to see some of the cars at Hunter as well. So,
yep, I did not know that until Jeff told me about it. And then Jeff said, guess where the owner of Hunter Engineering got his manager for his auto car collection? I said, where? He said, he hired him out from underneath Jay Leno. So that'll tell you what kind of a car collection we're going to go see next week. This is going to be amazing. I can't wait to go see this collection. So I like getting a private tour of Jay Leno's car collection, So we get to see that. And May the 7th, we fly into St. Louis. So I'll see you there.
Be sure to work on your business. Work on your business. Try not to work in it. Work on it. It's really important. If I could say anything else, do it. Don't necessarily chase the shiny penny all the time. Look at what you're doing and make sure you're doing the right thing. Don't just make an emotional change. I think I'm going to switch marketing companies today. Why? I don't know. Well, before you switch marketing companies, know why you're doing it. And that's pretty important. But yes, if you don't have a coach, you need to get one. I don't know any shop owner that shouldn't have a business coach.
Yeah. If a shop owner is interested in growing, they need a good digital marketing company and a good coaching program. And the two of those combined together, that gives you your number one source of new traffic is always referrals. So the better the businesses run, the happier the customers are, the more they refer other customers to you. The ones that don't have a referral to your shop and they do a search on Google, they should be able to find you because you should be with a marketing company that has you number one on Google for your search terms. So
ATI or autotraining.net.
Autotraining.net. Go to autotraining.net and take a look and give them a contact to get more information. Jim, really appreciate your valuable time. I know how busy you are. So looking forward to seeing you. I believe it's next week, May the 7th in St. Louis, and check out that car collection. Have you seen it before?
A long time ago.
Long time ago. So you'll get to see the updated one.
For additional automotive resources and exclusive content, follow us on Spotify and subscribe to our YouTube channel to catch all our episodes. Thanks again for joining us in the driver's seat, and we'll see you next time for another thrilling episode of Top Shop.